Number one complaint in the mortgage industry is bait and switch. And we have an example of how that actually happened here this last week. We have one of our great referral partners connected us with the client, and they said, hey, by the way, he told us he's going to use the lender. He found somebody else in his zone, and they were passionate about him talking to us. And he said he's going to use the lender that gives him the letter the fastest. Now, the temptation is for me just to give him a letter, right? But here's what happens. He gets a letter from a different lender almost immediately. They put in an offer. I say to him, hey, would you be opposed to just meeting and see if I potentially can offer you something else? We meet, and he had no idea that his cash to close was double what he thought it was. The guy had credit that was a little bit lower. They were putting him in a conventional loan, and they just said, yep, it's 3% down. They were going to bait and switch him. When he got under contract, he was going to find out that he had all these closing costs, and he was going to pay some discount points for the rate because his rate was lower. So once we did a consultation, we asked a bunch of questions. What's important to you? Monthly payment, cash to close, interest rate, house, backed into what those numbers look like. We actually found out that FHA made more sense for him, his particular situation, and he realized that his cash to close was going to be double. And we talked about solutions, i.e., do we need to go back and withdraw our offer? Do we need to be asking for more seller concessions? What do we need to do? And ultimately, he said, well, I have $50,000 sitting in an IRA, which, not everybody has. And I don't necessarily want him to have to use that if the plan was I only wanted to use a certain amount of money. So just be careful just to get a letter, because a letter is only as good as the consultation and your understanding of what that letter means. So reach out, and we'd love to do a consultation where we ask a lot of questions and make sure you leave knowing what your numbers mean. Thanks.